Self-driving cars are bad for our public roads. Although I know that eventually we're going to have to switch to battery-operated vehicles that have some sort of self-driving option to better the environment, as it stands right now and for years to come, it's simply too unsafe for our public roads. So I've conducted research with a group of peers, which we've gone over the intricacies of self-driving cars or autonomous vehicles, and we found that although there's many positives that come with self-driving cars, they simply don't outweigh the negatives. And so today I'd like to address this growing problem with self-driving cars, which I go over the history, cause, and possible harms, while also introducing a solution to the problem that goes over the proof of effectiveness, response to opposition, and how it will be implemented. So what exactly is the problem? Well, as it stands today, the problem with self-driving cars is that there's too many technological kinks that still need to be worked out with these cars by the giant corporations that sell these cars. And so the problem started back in 2018, where according to Persuasive of the Atlantic, a self-driving Uber car killed a civilian. In this instance, the car recognized that it needed to make an emergency braking maneuver, but the software doesn't allow the car to brake that hard when the deceleration is faster than 6.5 meters per second. And so the car needed to basically alert the driver to make this maneuver himself, but the car doesn't have that option. And so the civilian unfortunately passed away. Adding on to this technological mishap, two 20-year-olds hacked into a Tesla in less than 2 minutes, according to Stephen Orange from Physics World. Tesla, if you don't know, is basically the face of self-driving cars, led by Elon Musk, the most richest man in the entire world. And so this sort of leads into the extent of the problem, and where if these kinks don't get worked out or they are left unchecked, the problem can get worse and worse. As according to Alex Koposinski from Policy Advice, self-driving Uber cars crashed into other vehicles a total of 37 times in an 18-month test period. And so even taking in all these problems with these vehicles, what's the cause of it? And essentially what I believe is that the cause of the problem is rooted in human error. If humans cannot program the car effectively to brake properly or prevent hacking, then how can anybody trust their fates in the hands of a machine? And so the harms of the problem effectively stem from this as well. Human error extends to technological error, extends to unfortunate accidents, which extends to millions of people around the world. And so taking in the extent of this problem, what's the solution? Well, I believe that due to human pride and untrust of machines, it is the general public that will effectively enact this solution themselves by not supporting these self-driving cars. According to Alex of the Atlantic, any technology as powerful and society shaping as autonomous vehicles will certainly have unintended consequences. And according to Brett Burke of Car and Driver, nearly 3/4 of Americans express fear of riding or driving in a self-driving car. And so we can see that humans essentially just don't trust their lives in the hands of a machine, which extends to not only Americans, but definitely people around the world. And so one of the disagreements that comes in with self-driving cars between supporters and non-supporters is hacking. And because supporters think that as time goes on, these systems will become more complex to prevent hacking, but according to Jason Cornwitz of News and Northeastern, very complex systems may contain vulnerabilities. This leads into the second disagreement that comes with self-driving cars that pertains to adverse weather, like meaning rain, snow, fog, etc. Self-driving cars basically use a system called LiDAR, according to Schaff and Mitchell of ABC 10. If you don't know, LiDAR is basically the system that ports lasers around the car to essentially see what's around it to predict what to do next. And if these sensors and laser beams are blocked by, say, snow, then there's no telling what the car will do when it can't tell what's around it. And so, taking the solution into mind, how can it be implemented? Well, I believe that the solution can be implemented in 4 ways: by the general public, and by removing our financial contributions to these corporations, which can be done in a very quick manner, and we can determine the success of the solution on our own. And so, in conclusion, I'd argue why people should steer clear of autonomous vehicles by breaking it down into 3 aspects: the multivariate problem, the solution and its many intricacies, and the implementation of the solution. So I hope I was able to bring some awareness to you about self-driving cars and the problem going on with it. And so I hope that we can all be a part of the solution by not supporting these autonomous vehicles. Let's focus on today to be prepared for tomorrow.